It is another wonderful evening. Allow me to say good evening to all of you, our esteemed viewers. I believe you have enjoyed your day, and to some of you who are still on your way home, we believe God will grant you journey mercies. This is Family TV, and the program you're watching right now is Health Pot. Remember, this program is brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health together with Family TV, because your health is our priority and your health is your wealth. Of course, when you're dead, you can never achieve your dreams. You can only achieve your dreams, you can only dream big when you're alive. That is why we mind about your health. So, even today, we are here with our researcher. And, like I said, Edrine Osteen Mukalazi is my name. Mable Murungi is our sign language interpreter. And our guest today is Dr. Hanifa Namala Sengendo. Doctor,
yes, please.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Kindly greet our esteemed viewers before we tell them what you have for them.
Yes, surely. Dear our beloved viewers, I greet you in the name of God. For those of you who are Muslims, I say Salamu Alaikum. You are all welcome to this important watching of an important topic concerning health. And it actually caught my ears when you said health to wealth, because I run a program that says stepping stone, meaning you use health as a stepping stone to achieve your wealth.
Wow.
So this is great, and today we are, here to discuss that.
Because, Doctor, people think that health is only minded about when we are old or when we grow up. People don't know that health starts the day you're born.
Sure.
Actually, it starts the day your mother conceives.
It starts even before your mother conceives.
That is. So it is another journey. Like we've talked about all that process, and today we want to talk about the essential, what we call the essential newborn care practices. That is what we are going to talk about today, Doctor. How can we define the essential newborn care practices?
I think in a nutshell, because since we are talking for our viewers to understand and be knowledgeable, I'm going to avoid the very scientific jargons of the doctors, like you may know. So I'm going to communicate, meaning that I should be able to talk and you understand. Essential newborn care practices, these are the major, important, critical practices, what you do when the baby is born. We appreciate that before even the baby is born, the mother needs to do certain things. For example, to go for antenatal, she should be feeding herself well. But having gone through all that, and the baby is ready to come out to be delivered, whether in the normal spontaneous delivery or you are going to be to have a cesarean section, whatever the case, this baby has to be handled very critically in order to be able to become an important adult. Yes.
So you've said the baby has to be handled with a lot of care.
Yes.
What is this care you're talking about?
Okay. So when the baby is born, there are practices that have to be done. Remember, when the baby is in the mother's womb, is enjoying the warmth there, is having all the protection. And God made it that the baby has certain fluids around it, the ones you see that are white. Those fluids are helping the baby to be warm and, to take in nutrition and all that. So the moment the baby is born, what happens? We have to first hold this baby, make sure the baby is breathing. There is what we call a golden minute. Even you here, if you don't breathe for 1 minute, you'll be dead. But for a baby, if the baby does not breathe within the first minute of life, that baby may either die, or if eventually interventions are done, the baby will not grow normally. That means the brain will not have gotten oxygen at a critical moment, at a golden moment. So these are the baby you see that have growth that is not normal. They get retardation. They cannot understand well because the brain has been disorganized, then they don't grow like normal babies. So the first thing is to make sure that the baby breathes. Normally we note that by the baby crying. Ordinarily.
What if this baby doesn't cry?
If the baby does not cry, there is a problem. We have to make sure that this baby cries or breathes within the first what? 1 minute. So as medical personnel, we have to do things that, we can help the baby to breathe. Because the baby might come out, has maybe secretions or liquids within the breathing system, and you need to remove those, liquids. Or the baby is just too weak to initiate the first breath. So what we do is that we help the baby to breathe within the golden minute. And when the baby is breathing, you make sure that this baby is kept warm. Do you know warmth is very critical? It is an essential practice. Because as I said, while in the womb, the baby is enjoying the mother's what? Temperature. But now the baby all of a sudden has come to the new world. So what we do, we get that baby and dry. We dry the baby.
How do you dry this baby?
Well, next time when we go through the different series, I'll come to demonstrate really how we dry. Because we don't even just dry anyhow. There is a way that
you just get a towel and then...
No. There is a professional way that you should handle the baby, and then you dry that baby. Remember, at this time, there are so many things you are supposed to do. Within a very short time, you are making sure the baby is breathing, you are drying the baby, but then as you dry immediately, you make sure you are warming the baby. How do you warm the baby? You have seen, I won't say you've seen, I don't know, have you been to the labor ward?
No.
Have you seen a picture of the labor?
Yes, I have.
Yes. So when the baby is born, we place the baby either on the mother's, chest or in the hands. But the most preferable practice is to put the baby on the mother's chest. You continue drying, but as you put on the chest, it helps, first of all, to get that warmth from the mother.
Is that what we call the kangaroo?
No, that is not at that stage called the kangaroo. Kangaroo comes at a later stage, but in a way, skin-to-skin care, one of which is kangaroo, but at this time, it is an essential care. So when you place the baby here, the baby is enjoying the mother's warmth. As you are doing other things, you are continuing to dry, okay? But you are also keeping the baby warm by using another cloth, because when we clean out that white secretion, then we bring another sheet to wrap the baby. You wrap the baby and put the baby on the mother's chest. Pregnant women have a higher temperature than yours.
What brings that?
Yeah, it is the normal dynamics. You have more blood flowing in more faster than, because you are giving the baby, you are giving yourself. So there is a lot of,
In other words,
increased activity.
Higher temperatures to our mothers out there shouldn't scare them.
They are a bit high, but not higher to be a fever. There is a difference. It will be normal for the pregnant mother, but it won't be a fever temperature. It won't be a temperature that is called the fever. So when the baby is put in the mother's chest, we mothers, we actually feel, first of all, as the doctor is doing the warmth and the drying, I am getting the passion, the love, the bondage for my baby. Remember, it was inside, and I'm looking at this baby, the creature is here, is crying, and I'm feeling. So that's part of care. That's the beginning. The mother is bonding with the what? With the baby. So afterwards, of course, then we go to the cord care. The cord has to be cared for immediately after birth. What does that mean? Remember, the cord is connected to a placenta. A placenta is what we call a second baby. In Uganda, I don't know in other languages. So you need to disconnect this cord, which is like a rope. You disconnect it from the what we call the second baby or the placenta, and then you clamp so that blood is retained within the baby. And you have to do it very fast, because if you don't do it within that 1 minute, within the first 3 minutes, then the baby will get blood moving out of the baby to go to the second baby or the placenta, and then the baby becomes anemic.
All these practices,
they should be within the first 1 to 3 minutes. All these things should be happening. As I am warming, the cord is being cut and clamped. Cut and clamped, and I'm very systematic when I say that. You cut and clamp, because we've seen if you don't tie the cord very well, then the baby can lose blood through the cord, because I said it was the connection. It is like a rope connecting the baby to the food reservoir and the blood reservoir, which is the second baby, the placenta. So if you don't cut in time, if you don't tie well, then the baby will become anemic. So when we have placed here, the cord has been cut and it has been tied very well. The baby is well wrapped already. Then the mother should start breastfeeding with as earliest as possible. As earliest.
What do you mean by as earliest as possible?
Early initiation of breastfeeding within the first 1 hour. Because remember also, there are other things that are happening. Yeah. You are cleaning the mother. She has delivered, blood is still there. They have to, if she has episiotomy would be what? If she needed some other help to, for the baby to pass, all those things are happening. They are suturing the mother, So, early initiation of breastfeeding is the best practice. The baby should be put on the breast, within the first 1 hour. And when the baby is put on the breast, the stimulation of milk begins. Because many mothers say, the milk hasn't come, come. But the moment the baby starts suckling, the reflex naturally, there are nerves and, sensations that go to the brain and tell it that, can you release milk? Okay?
In other words, milk is somewhere, kept
milk,
somewhere.
Milk is only here, waiting but it is only waiting
for the demand.
To be, yes, for the demand. So putting the baby on the breast is very critical, because it helps the milk to start flowing. If it starts flowing, the baby also gets warm. Haven't you ever seen babies as they are breastfeeding, they are sweating?
Yes.
Yes.
So doctor, at that very point, I beg that we go for a short commercial break, and then we come back, we are going to start from there.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
As you think about the Lord just taking over your case, and you are no longer in the midst of it, and he says, fear not.
Demons from the mountains, scream and leave. Demons from the graves, scream and leave in the name of Jesus.
Welcome back from the commercial break. I believe we are still moving together. You who has just joined us, you're welcome. But remember, this is the second part of today's show. This program is brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health, together with Family TV. Therefore, you shouldn't miss it every single Friday at exactly 7 p.m. Today, we are with Dr. Hanifa Sengendo. And Mable Murungi is our sign language interpreter. Doctor?
Yes, please.
Before you went for the commercial break, you had taken us through some of these practices. You had talked about the drying, the warming, you had talked about the immediate cord care, and you had talked about the breastfeeding. What are some of the other practices that should be done onto this baby?
And when you talk about cord care, I should put a disclaimer right away that as professionals, in the very beginning, the cord should be cared for very well. We've seen mothers who come to the labor ward with certain things to put on the cord.
Cow dung.
They put some cow dung, they put some soot, like, have you been in a kitchen for a firewood kitchen? Yes, they get that soot. They get all different types of herbs. And the cord is one of the very sensitive, if it is an open place. So the moment you put things that are not clean, those things pipe their way through, they find their way through the baby's blood, and the baby can start getting sick. So the immediate cord care is an important component, because we know culturally, many people have beliefs about the cord.
And superstitions.
And superstitions, They think maybe the cord, if they don't put those herbs, then this baby will not be rich, will not have blessings. All these sorts of things are happening. So we really must be strict with cord care. And then the general hygiene.
So there is, before we leave that, the cord care, there is also some other practice that mothers do. I don't know whether you, the health practitioners, are the ones who tell them to. They get surgical spirit and they start using it to clean the cord.
Okay. For us as medical personnel, we say you must clean the cord, but how do you clean the cord? Okay? In the hospitals, you may be given a tube, a cream that you use when you have finished cleaning. Cleaning the cord is a very important issue. You see, after 24 hours, that cord starts sort of rotting and smelling because it's withering, It withers, it starts smelling a bit, But when it does that, it means you are not actually cleaning the cord very well. We teach mothers how to clean the cord. In the next session, we shall come with a dummy and really demonstrate. Because what happens is that we should actually get that stamp that remained. You get your warm, salty water, and then you use a clean gauze or cotton, and then you clean around. You remove any yellowish, secretions or liquids. Okay?
Yeah.
Or you can use salty water. Salty water, which is, for us we call it normal saline. It is bottled, it is clean. But for my mother down in the village, you can actually boil your water very well. You put some salt, the tested salt, the one you can easily taste, not concentrated, not very concentrated. Yeah. And then you can clean the cord, okay? But even studies have shown that even if you don't really do that, the cord will dry. However, because in our culture, we should hold that cord and put something, we actually advise mothers, and in the hospital, they are given other things.
Then instead of putting the other
cow
stuff,
dung.
The cow dung and all that, the soot, they should at least use this.
The other thing is also eye care. Haven't you noted, even some cultures, I want to mention that the moment the baby is born, they put certain things in the eyes.
Yes.
But for us as medical personnel, we just apply something to avoid infections of the eye. And then general hygiene. The baby should be clean from the word go. That's why we tell mothers, in your preparation, you should actually have a clean cloth not only one. You should have the first cloth, the ones I said you first dry.
Use for drying the baby.
For drying the baby, you throw that away, and then you get another.
You don't wash it, you just throw it
Not
away.
immediately. Remember, you don't have time to wash.
So you're talking about the immediate
The
care.
immediate one.
Okay.
You remember, you don't have that time. You will clean that later. But for a start, after you have dried with one sheet, then you get another sheet, you wrap the baby, and then you can put what we used to call baby show. But whatever the warm cloth is actually as critical as important. And then the other thing which is important is immunization of the baby. I have seen people.
Maybe, doctor, before we leave the general hygiene. You've talked about cleaning the baby and drying the baby. When should a mother start bathing this baby with water?
Okay. My dear mothers, parents, and other stockholders, our judges, the grandees that are listening to the family TV, we are here to gain knowledge.
Yes.
This baby can stay without being bathed for 24 hours, meaning that if your daughter has delivered at 2 p.m., this child can be bathed at 2 p.m. tomorrow. 24 hours. Because you know what is happening? We think that the secretions, the white, things that are on the baby is dirty. Some people even think that they are, they are bad liquids. And they want to wash away, to wash all the hair and wash everything. No.
They even get a sponge and start.
You get the sponge, you put the baby in water, and you are like basically scrubbing off that. No, medically it has been proven that you don't need to bathe the baby for 24 hours. The baby will still be clean. The moment you dried, that was enough. After drying, you can put the pamper, and then you wrap you swaddle the baby, and that's all. You don't have to bathe. The same thing since you have asked about bathing. Many of the mothers say, me, I have delivered well. The moment I reached, I delivered. After 1 hour, I want to go home. That is very wrong. The mothers should stay under the eyes or the care of a skilled birth attendant at least 24 hours.
Some of them even run away escape.
Yeah, because they say me even the first baby, me 1 hour I deliver, I go away. But that is not good care. So the general hygiene of the baby is what we are talking about. Making sure that you don't bathe the baby within 24 hours. You let the baby start breastfeeding. The baby can start passing, feces or whatever. You just wipe. You don't have to bathe. Unless when it is, you wipe. But you wipe even dry. Because remember, any water put on the baby will lose the warmth. Because we said this baby should actually be warm. I have seen some practices where the baby is just born and people hold. There is a tendency of holding the baby like this, so that they see whether this baby is a real man. They see the baby can continue crying. There is no need for that, And long ago, we used to think that the moment the baby is born, you put the head down, and then you start beating the baby.
So
No. That is wrong medicine. That is wrong care. You are putting pressure on the baby's head. You are actually beating. The baby has had a lot of pressure as he was going through the birth canal. And you are also increasing injury. So we have practices how you can make this baby cry. You can tickle down the feet. You can stimulate, roll at the back, and do other maneuvers. Yes.
But not those harsh ones.
Yes. And then of course, we shouldn't forget that the baby should be immunized as soon as possible, okay? Immunization is very critical. Many people have appreciated when we talk, currently everyone is talking about the COVID vaccine.
Yes.
But the baby should be immunized against killer diseases that we shall actually discuss in our next series of care for newborn, and the child will continue growing until we become an adult.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Hanifa. We are indeed grateful. Actually, you have elaborated and cleared some of the superstitions that most of our mothers have out there. And I believe the mother out there has been blessed. But remember, this is just the beginning. This topic is too wide, and you shouldn't miss any of the upcoming episodes. Keep your eyes only on Family TV. And because tomorrow is a weekend, allow us as the entire team of HealthPort to wish you a very, very, very happy weekend. But of course, I've worked with Mable Murungi, our sign language interpreter. I've worked with Dr. Hanifa from Makerere University School of Public Health.
I'm actually not from the school. I'm from the Stepping Stone platform, but I work with, yeah.
Okay, so Jonah Jal, the producer, and of course, Bantam in transmission, and Tony Santo on social media. Edrine, Osteen, Mukalazi, Family TV, enriching lives. Good night.